Ladies and gentlemen, how about another story out of the state of Florida again? A Florida babysitter has been charged with neglecting, abusing, and killing a 3-year-old boy in his care after he left the boy's mother, a note saying that the son, the little 3-year-old boy, drowned in a bathtub. After the autopsy revealed the contrary, the boy was not drowned in a bathtub, but the boy was beaten. He probably suffered blunt force trauma. How many times have you guys heard about someone murdering a child and then somehow in some weird way they always involve a bathtub? They either put the child in a bathtub to revive them, throw some water on them, but how many times have we heard of the bathtub scenario? I can count maybe about 15 times this year. It's really crazy. Really crazy. The fool that y'all see on my screen, and he is the epitome of that word, FOOL. Google search it, look it up, and I can guarantee you will find his face as the emoji for that word. Joshua Mans, Manns, 25 years old, reportedly called 3-year-old Jameson Nance's mother on June the 11th while she was at work and told her that the boy had drowned in the bathtub. But when she got back to her apartment in West Melbourne, she found that man was nowhere to be seen and had never called for medical assistance. Huge, huge red flag right there. Instead, authorities say he left her a handwritten note saying that he had a seizure while Jameson was in the bathtub, resulting in him drowning. Can we put a prayer hands up in the chat and thank God for coroners and medical examiners? Why do I say that? Why do I say we should praise them? Because otherwise we wouldn't be able to really prove beyond a reasonable doubt what actually was the cause of death to this 3-year-old boy. We were able to find out this boy didn't drown in no damn tub. This boy was beaten to death. This fool was lying. Authorities say he wrote in a letter no one would believe him and he did not want to spend his life in prison for something that he didn't do. The medical examiner did not find any evidence, no evidence, that the young boy had drowned, saying he had actually suffered from battered child syndrome. Battered child syndrome, suffering from weeks-old injuries, including broken ribs, stab wounds to the head, and brain swelling. Let's take a pause right there. I'm going to read that again. His injuries were weeks old, multiple weeks old. He had a broken rib that mom allegedly I guess maybe she didn't know about it, but the boy had stab wounds to his head. I have a question. DJ Just J has a question. On what freaking planet do children drown in a bathtub and end up with knife stab wounds to the head? You just can't be that level of stupid. Maybe you can. I don't know. He drowned, but did you forget that he had knife wounds to his head, broken ribs, and brain swelling from drowning? I'm not here to make criminals any better at their jobs. If they're going to continue to keep giving us these cockamamie stories, then it is what it is. Then we need to charge them accordingly. But let's keep going. The little boy Jameson had also, oh, wow. Listen at this. The little boy had also suffered a broken leg last March. I'm sure y'all are wondering why they put up a mugshot of the mother. Stupid is as stupid thugs. Thank you. THUGS. Not referring to a skin color, referring to an action. These are the actions of thugs. Last March, the boy suffered from a broken leg, and the Florida Department of Children and Family Services investigated another broken leg he had when he was only 1 year old. A broken leg at 1 year old. Shortly before this baby boy died, the department had gone to his daycare to investigate suspicious injuries like burn marks on his arms. This boy was tortured. That's what happened. Man is not the boy's father. I repeat, not the boy's father, but lived in the same apartment building as Nance and his mother. He reportedly left the Grand Oaks at the Lake apartment shortly after the phone call to Nance's mother and was gone by the time police arrived on the scene. West Melbourne police then put up a post asking for the public's help in locating this dude, describing him as a person of interest in this case. Took them 2 weeks. On June 28th, he was arrested by U.S. Marshals in Georgia. So he tried to run. As he was trying to escape with the help of his family to get back to his home state of Virginia. I think everybody who was attached to helping him try to escape should also be arrested. What do y'all think about that? Every person, cousins, uncles, brothers, sisters, every single one of them should do 5 years in prison off top for participating in harboring a fugitive. He was arraigned on Friday, standing silently as the Florida judge charged him with first-degree murder as well as neglect and abuse charges. Man is now being held with no bond as a fugitive. Think that's it? Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's talk about these videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Here we go. Let's get it.
Police say staff at the daycare run by Health First had noticed suspicious injuries on the child before he died, but did not report it to DCF. Now the health system says it is cooperating with investigators. 3-year-old Jameson Nance died last month at a West Melbourne home where investigators say Joshua Mans was supposed to be watching him. Now Mans and Jameson's mother, Erica Dotson, are facing murder charges, with police saying the little boy suffered several horrific injuries, including a broken rib and leg, brain swelling, and head wounds. Jameson attended a daycare run by Health First, which Dotson worked for as a nursing assistant. In the days after his death, West Melbourne police say a DCF investigator went to that daycare and talked with staff, then learned, quote, that the child had been observed having what they considered suspicious injuries that were not fully investigated or properly reported to DCF.
Now, I also want y'all to remember, the boy had a broken leg at 1 year old, and then suffered another broken leg, which was also investigated. But we'll get there. I'm going to let the video play.
The report says that includes a statement from Jameson that Mans would hit him in the head. There was a burn on his arm and injuries to his face. Child care staff are mandatory reporters, meaning they're required by law to report suspicions of abuse. A Health First spokesman told me in a statement, quote, Health First is deeply saddened by the senseless and tragic death of Jameson Nance. The Center for Child Development is committed to providing a safe learning environment as well as the support, training, and education for the children's development. As for Jameson's mom, Erica Dotson, the health system says, quote, Erica Dotson's employment as a hospital CNA has been suspended, and we are diligently working with local authorities to assist in the investigation. Reporting in Melbourne, Bob Hazen, WESH 2 News.
Six's James Barbero has more developments from the West Melbourne Police Department. They just provided an update late this afternoon.
A month after Jameson Nance's death, police here now telling us for the first time they say the mother of the boy is just as responsible for the child's death as the man accused of beating the toddler and fleeing the state to avoid capture.
That's the important part right there. And I want y'all to understand, AFC, you guys can give each other a hand clap. For those of y'all who've been sharing my videos, sharing the word, spreading the message, like our videos have gotten lots of views. Lots of people have seen this, and I'm glad that some cities, some states, some provinces, some counties are finally starting to listen and hold the people accountable who are taking their children, thank you, Miss June Bennett, taking their children to the thug zoo and leaving their children inside the thug lion cage. Finally, you guys can thank yourselves. And y'all wonder, like, is this advocacy actually making a difference? Yes, it is. Ask Make This Go Viral TV. Ask Illicit Deeds. Ask Leave It to Bieber. Ask any of our people who support and make these videos for our children. We don't just do this just because we're bored. We don't speak out just because we have nothing else to do. It's because we want to see real change, and this is our way to be able to call for that change. Make that beck and call, right? Shout out to you guys. I want y'all to hear this. Here we go.
Police also just revealing today that the mother was a healthcare professional, a local CNA.
My son was in the bathtub when my boyfriend had a seizure, and he said he's not breathing.
The voice of Erica Dotson, who West Melbourne police say called 911 on June 11th as she drove home from work. But the reality was police say her son did not drown, as Dotson's boyfriend Josh Manns claimed when he was watching him. Police say 3-year-old Jameson's autopsy shows he was beaten for a long time. And despite crying on the line with rescuers, police say Dotson previously showed no concern about the abuse police say she knew Manns was inflicting on Jameson.
Let's listen at that again. One more time.
Did not drown, as Dotson's boyfriend Josh Manns claimed when he was watching him. Police say 3-year-old Jameson's autopsy shows he was beaten for a long time. And despite crying on the line with rescuers, police say Dotson previously showed no concern about the abuse police say she knew Manns was inflicting on Jameson.
She knew that her child was in pain. She knew all these things were happening to her child, yet she kept him from public view to make sure that we as law enforcement were not involved, to make sure that DCF was not involved, because if we were, they know that we would be asking questions, and if so, Jameson may be here today.
Police say today would have been Jameson's 4th birthday. Instead, it's the day his mother becomes the second person charged with his murder.
Had she protected her child like a mother should, we will be celebrating a birthday instead of seeking justice.
Yep.
In West Melbourne, Brevard County, I'm James Sparvero, Getting Results News 6.
Now, they actually have a press conference here. I don't think we need to go all the way into this press conference. It's about 8 minutes long. We'll skip it. But again, here's what I want people to understand. You might think that what we're calling for and what we're asking for is a bit too harsh. Like, well, what if she didn't know and this and that? As a parent, you must know. You must be able to put your children in advantageous positions, protect them, and you have to vet the people. Let alone the fact that this child had multiple broken bones over the years as a small child. 1 year old with broken bones, broken ribs, stab wounds to the head. There is no way you didn't know. Absolutely no way you didn't know. So here's what I want you guys to think about. People should be scared that they could get in a crap ton of trouble if they investigate this, and they could go to jail for life if something happens to their kid. Everybody should have that fear. But then again, most people, I believe, are actually good parents. I just think you got a bundle of bad ones out there.
Joshua Nance.
The West Melbourne man accused of abusing and murdering a 3-year-old boy faced a Florida judge for the first time on Friday. Joshua Nance didn't say a word, as the judge said he's to remain behind bars without bond. The 25-year-old is accused of killing Jameson Nance last month. According to newly released affidavits, Nance was taking care of the preschooler in their West Melbourne home while his mom was at work. As the boy's mom was getting ready to come home, court documents say Nance called her, saying Jameson likely drowned. She came rushing home, finding her son dead in the bathroom, and that Nance had taken off without calling anyone for help. Investigators say Nance left a note in the apartment saying he had a seizure while the boy was in the bathtub and drowned, adding, quote, no one would believe him, and he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life in prison for something he did not do. But a medical examiner didn't find any evidence of drowning. Instead, an autopsy revealed clear signs of battered child syndrome with injuries from weeks ago, including a fractured rib, brain swelling, and stabs to his head. Detectives also learned the boy suffered a broken leg last March, and that the Department of Children and Family Services investigated another broken leg 2 years ago. Just last month, DCF went to his daycare to investigate suspicious injuries, including a burn on his arm. Law enforcement found and arrested Nance in Georgia over 2 weeks after the boy's death. Investigators say he was trying to get help from relatives to escape to his home state of West Virginia. In West Melbourne, Marlene Martinez, West 2 News.
I gotta say, I'm wondering the exact same thing. Where is the biological father? Because they made sure to clarify that this dude is not the biological father to this boy. And again, this is what I'm talking about with the nuclear family, biological mother, biological father. If y'all create the kid, y'all should be able to have that kid under one roof. If you're not able to figure that out before procreation, then maybe we should not be having children like this. We can't keep having children outside of wedlock and then talk about, damn, it sure is hard raising kids without no help. Or you could just withhold having children until somebody puts a ring on your finger. Get married first. If ain't nobody trying to marry you, then maybe you shouldn't be having children. Because this is what you end up doing. You end up resorting to unauthorized babysitters, and who knows? Who knows what this fool was doing? Let me show y'all something. Let me show you something real quick. See if I can get his face up on the big screen. I want y'all to look at this pedo, rapist, no doesn't mean no face looking ass boy right here. You heard me? Look at his face, and y'all tell me I wouldn't leave my pet lizard around this MFer right here. Try not to curse. I would not leave my pet turtle around this damn dude. If you look him in the face, that boy look like he's just about to take his sexual rage out on anything that has a heartbeat. Ain't no way in hell I'd leave anything living around him. Maybe not even some dead things. But the fact that they got the mom, and this is why I had to present this story. I looked at it and I said, finally, this ain't about let's get the women, let's get the men. No, let's get the black people, let's get the white people. Not about that. This is about accountability. This is about accountability. The people who put these children in these positions should be held just as accountable as the people who actually caused the hurt, harm, danger, and murder to these children. And I want y'all to look at that baby boy's face, and I want y'all to think about this because it gets me right here. Every time I see children with food, I get kind of choked up because it's the bare essential thing that you need to do. Sustenance. Sustenance. Y'all look at that baby boy and y'all tell me, How could you look at a face like that and want to break that boy's pride, want to destroy that boy, want to beat him up, stab him? How can you look into that boy's eyes and want to do that to him? That baby boy could have grown up and become anything, absolutely anything. This boy could have been a game changer. If we're going to have the children, how about we respect the children? People ask me sometimes, like, do I support abortion? And I told this lady in my email, I'm like, I don't really know. I'm on the fence about that. Because I do like the fact that people have a choice to be able to make a hard decision like that if they have to or if they want to. But I also don't like them making that decision either. So I'm on the fence. I am very transparent with that. But if we're going to bring children into this world, why allow this to happen? We make it seem like abortion is just the worst thing in the world. What's worse is when these children become conscious, when they feel pain, when they have understanding, when they feel neglect, when they feel hurt, when they feel betrayed, they're heartbroken, when they feel scared, they feel fear, and they see death as impending based on the person's actions that mom dumped him off and dropped off. Dumped her son off with this fool. That boy had nobody to call to. Nobody to beg and ask for help. And mom could have ended this a long time ago from the first incident. Even if I even think that you batted an eye wrong at my daughter, you would never be around my kid. If you even breathe wrong around my daughter, if you take a breath of oxygen the wrong effing way, you damn sure won't be around my kid. Why don't we have that in our heart? It doesn't take, I always love this. You don't have to inflict damage to project strength. I always love that quote. You don't have to inflict damage to project strength. All you have to do as a parent is stand on some freaking principle. Let a person know, I'm going to protect my child at all cost. Even if it means me turning you in and you get life in prison. Don't do anything to my kid. Sometimes all you have to do is stand on principle and let the law work in your favor. This is not a failure on DCFS. This is not a failure on the police. This is not a failure of Florida or any other state. This is a failure on the biological mother and biological father. Those two entities should have been able to figure this thing out together so this baby boy could have grown up and become something great, and they didn't, and this is the result of that. I hope that the mom gets her justice in court. I'd love to see her do about 15 years because of this. Now, if she was participating, give her life in prison too. But for now, if she just didn't say anything, I say 15 years. That dude, life in prison. No excuse. But for that baby boy, let me see if I get his face back up on the screen. Just want just his face. Jameson Nance, young prince. R.I.P. R.I.P., man.